You're listening to the Business Marketing Show, episode number 72. You can find us at businessmarketingshow.com on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Business Marketing Show. I am your host today, Ed Keay-Smith from Online Impact, here with my co-host Brendan Tully from the Search Engine Shop. And we have a guest on the show today, Reg Sorrell from onlinevideosperth.com.au. And we're going to be speaking with Reg about the importance of having video as part of your online marketing strategy, or even offline marketing strategy for that matter. And we'll be discussing Reg's background and how he got started in the video production industry and what led him to this point, and some very useful hints and tips on how to take advantage of video for your business. So thank you, Reg, for coming on the podcast. Great to have you.
My pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
You are most welcome. It's a very, very important subject, and it is a very talked about subject at the moment. And with the absolute massive expansion of YouTube and Facebook and other video platforms, and the high consumption that people have of video these days, you really can't ignore it. And I think ignoring it at your peril would definitely be the case, particularly for anything online. So you're in the game. You've got a business that produces videos for clients of all shapes and sizes, and but you obviously didn't start off this way. So as we do with all our guests who come on the show, we like to backtrack a bit and what led you to this point. So going back, I can obviously tell that you've got an accent, and I know you do because I know where you're from. But you're not originally from Australia. Where did you come from?
I'm from Scotland originally. I'm from a town on the Clyde, about 20 miles west of Glasgow, called Greenock.
Greenock. Okay, the new laddie.
Okay, the new.
Yeah. So yes, I am born in Scotland as well. A lot of people don't know that, but I was born in Hamilton, so I'm a Scotsman, and Brendan's an Irishman. So we all come from the United Kingdom area. So when did you come to Perth? How long ago was that?
We arrived in sunny Perth in December the 6th, 1980.
Okay, yeah. So you've been here a long time. By that account, you've been here probably longer in Australia than you spent in Scotland in your life.
Very much so, yes. I was only, if I say how old I was, they'd be giving me my age. But I was 9 when I came out here.
Okay, 9. So you were just a wee laddie.
Just a wee lad, exactly.
Yeah, and you were only 8, weren't you, Brendan, when you came out?
Correct.
And I was even younger than both of you, so I'm not even going to say that. So, what were you doing in Scotland before you came out here?
Oh, well, I was a young boy, so we were just in primary school. That was it.
Yeah.
So my dad worked in the North Sea.
So so your dad was in the North Sea working on oil platforms.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And what was the decision to come? Was it work related that brought you out here in terms of what your dad was doing?
Yeah, very much so. Not to get too political, but we were in the midst of Thatcher's Britain at that stage, yeah. And on the Clyde, we were a shipbuilding town, and everything just shut down. So. For work, my dad had to look further afield, and then he obviously got jobs in the North Sea. And then the opportunity came to possibly immigrate to a country where they were just starting a bit more of an exploration in the oil and gas industry. So,
okay,
yep,
took advantage of that. And my favourite comedian of all time, Billy Connolly, has many Clyde shipbuilding stories because he was he worked there and did riveting and welding and things like that. And has some very, very funny stories about stuff that went on there. And that whole area now has all been redeveloped into sort of commercial property and houses and stuff now, hasn't it? From my
Yep, that's right.
It's no longer building the great ships of old. So what was the first area of work you started once you'd gone through high school here in Australia and went out into the world working? What were you doing?
Well, when I finished school, I went to uni and started a business degree, and wasn't really enjoying it and wasn't doing very well, which is probably a combination of my lack of enthusiasm and the fact that I was probably playing way too much basketball at the time. And I decided to take a year off to find out actually do I want to do with my life, that whole journey. So I actually did a bit of traveling. And then I came back and decided that the minor units that I was studying as part of the business degree, which was media, I actually enjoyed more. So then I went back to uni as a mature age student and did a Bachelor of Communications or Film and Television, I think it was back in that day.
Okay.
So, studied there for 3 years, and as part of my honours year, Channel 31 had just started up on the Edith Cowan campus, so we were encouraged to make use of that asset on the university campus. So then I went out and teamed up with the local comedy group here called the Laugh Resort. At that stage, they were based at the Brass Monkey, and we made 10 episodes of a comedy program that aired on Channel 31 then. I think it was the second season of their first year.
Yeah, I do remember that. They were very good. So, okay. So what year was that in?
Oh, you'd be testing my memory now. Late 90s.
Late 90s, okay. Yeah. So what led on after that experience? So you'd had all that work under your belt and the experience of working on that show. What happened after that?
I got offered a job in Wagga Wagga, so good they named it twice, working for Prime Television, which basically broadcast Channel 7 to their country market. So I got a job with Wagga Prime, making their commercials.
Okay, so that was so what aspect of working on the commercials were you doing? Were you tell us more how you were doing that?
Well, I was producing the commercials, so it was all to do with client liaison, working out what they want, and then scripting, shooting, editing, getting approval, getting it approval from the client, and then classified by the channel, and then getting it on air.
Okay, so sounds like exactly what you're doing now. So,
yeah.
Except not with a station, with your own business. So, so then you've moved on, and how long were you in Wagga Wagga for?
I was there pretty much 2 years to the day.
Right. Okay.
The reason I know that because my first day on the job was the September 10th, and then the Tuesday was September 11th.
Ah.
2001, and then pretty much the same week of that year of that month, I'd left 2 years later. So
right. Okay. Yeah. So that was the landmark that you could see that was the same. Yeah. Okay. And so then you came back to Perth?
No, we came back to Perth just briefly, and then at that stage, my girlfriend had moved over to Wagga, and we both decided to move to London.
Okay, so you're getting around, mate. So
yeah, so working in sort of television, obviously the London or Britain to a degree is a bit of a mecca.
Yes.
So that was the idea, was to get there and work on some good programs and perhaps maybe even work for the BBC at some stage. So that was the goal. But when I got there, I actually found it quite difficult because, I had decent experience, but the whole attitude was, well, you don't have UK experience. You don't have UK experience. So then I had to sort of start a few rungs lower than I anticipated.
Yeah.
But that was fine. I worked on some interesting programs. So I did that for probably close to 3 years, working on different shows. So I worked on, it was mainly sort of factual programs then. So the most popular one would have been Big Brother, Little Brother that I worked on with Russell Brand. I worked on House Property Ladder with Sarah Beanie. Then a few other ones house related, Honey, I Ruined the House and House Auction. Okay. They were sort of big stage. So that was my sort of factual television experience. And then off the back of that, I got offered a job with the shopping television station as a studio director.
Right, okay.
It was, at the time, they were called Big TV, and they had 3 channels, and they were the biggest UK shopping station. The biggest one is QVC. They're American-based.
Mm-hmm.
But the one I worked for was the biggest UK one. So across 3 channels, I was working as a studio director. So I did that for about 6 years.
So it sounds like you've pretty much seen it all with the things you've worked on. And Russell Brand must have been a handful to. Did you work directly with him? Were you dealing with him?
Dealing with him pretty much every day. He actually wasn't. He's a super nice guy.
Yeah. It seems like everything. He seems like a very cool dude. But he seems irreverent, which is great because as Scotsmen and Irishmen, we're known for being irreverent. So
isn't it?
So that's great. And so that was why you're in the UK, and then you ended back here at some stage. And what were you doing when you were back here?
2 of my colleagues from uni decided they wanted to start a business and said, you want to do the same thing, so why don't you come out and join us? And the 3 of us will conquer the world.
Yep.
So that's essentially what I did. I came out. By that stage, I was married and had a son.
Mm-hmm.
So they were still back in London. So I came out here to try and establish a business so I could get them out. So I worked. We started off, the 3 of us together, but that didn't actually work out that well.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes friends shouldn't be doing business together.
Definitely.
So we've all done our separate things. We're all still friends and stuff. So we've all got our own businesses now that we work in. So that's when I started up Online Videos Perth, and been doing it ever since.
Fantastic. And that was how long ago was that when you started Online Videos?
I came back in 2011, so it's probably 2012, mid-2012 I would have started it.
Okay. So in that time, even though it doesn't seem that long ago, we're talking 5-6 years, so there's been a lot of change in the landscape of people getting videos done and the demand for it. What is it that you have noticed and sort of see where this is headed in terms of video production?
Well, for want of a better expression, it'd be the trickle-down effect. Usually the video was always the plaything of the big boys, the companies that got Ford, the huge crew that essentially it took to produce these videos. Yeah. I remember, I've worked with guys that were around at the time when Bondi was throwing money around left, right and centre, and, the money that was put into these productions was just ludicrous. But that was because, they had the money, and nobody the people who couldn't afford it just wasn't even on their radar. But now with technology and the digital space and internet, and everybody now having essentially a little television studio in their pocket with their smart device, become a lot more accessible. And actually to get it distributed as well has become a lot cheaper because it's free on the internet. Before you'd have to, you'd pab all this money in your production and you'd have a really nice looking video, and then you've got to start burning DVDs, which back then was expensive. You couldn't do it on home PCs back then. And then you're mailing out to all these, possible clients that you're looking to get, prospects. So it was quite expensive, but just technology has made it more accessible to anybody who's interested in it.
Yeah, exactly. And I look at a lot of the channels that I follow on YouTube, and the power that a lot of these YouTubers have now is amazing. Some of the guys I follow, they've got 7-8 million subscribers / followers, and they command attention from the niches that they're in. So they still have to bow down to the wishes of YouTube, and as I always say, whoever controls the platform controls the scenario. And, so they've still got to play by someone else's rules, but they've certainly got a lot more flexibility and reach than they ever could have had 10 years ago before it became what it is now.
For sure. There's some YouTube, I'm trying to think of his name. Oh, PewDiePie. He had the largest following on YouTube there. He had more subscribers than the American terrestrial channels. So like your NBC and your CBS.
Yep.
Had more viewers than them.
Yeah, but he crossed them and they cancelled his channel. I don't know whether he's got it back again.
No, he's on the outer now. I don't know. I think he's having issues with YouTube, and he's gone a bit rogue.
Yeah. He did some sketch and it had Hitler in it or something, and he dressed as Hitler. And anyway, he did some things that were questionable, and that sort of raised the attention of the wrong people on YouTube, and he got shut down. So hence, you still got to work in the confinements of the rules of the platform, because they can shut you down. So unless you own your own YouTube, you still have to do that. But that being said, the average business out there, they're not going to suffer from that type of scenario, because often they're just, they're local businesses who are promoting their shop or their service or whatever. So it's very unlikely they're going to have any issues with terms of service from YouTube, unless they start making promises or doing things. But anyway, that's for everyone to make sure they, dot their I's and cross their T's and read the conditions. But so what do you find at the moment you're getting most demand for? What type of video production?
In regards to what type of videos, or where are people watching these videos?
Yeah, where are people asking you what the main place they're wanting to get the videos made for? Is it mainly for online, some TV stuff still? What's the spread of where they go? It's
mainly website and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube seems to be a default, because that's where that's where most people host their videos.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so most videos that I produce are either for online advertising, websites, and probably Facebook's probably the most popular.
Cool. And so, lots of people are waking up to the fact that having a video, if done correctly, can be a good thing. So what are the pros and the cons of what you see in people getting videos produced? What should they pay attention to and be careful of?
Well, first of all, you should pay attention to purpose. It's the first thing I always talk about. You have to have a purpose for the video. There's no point making something for because it's popular or it's trending. If you don't have a purpose, then you're not going to get the best results because you don't know what you want. So you're not going to get any results. You can go, well, this is actually quite beneficial. So it then becomes a problem, because you think, well, I made this video. It's supposed to be popular. It's supposed to go viral. It didn't really happen. I'm not going to use video. I think it's a crock or whatever. So people can get spoiled if they think that they're going to, catch on the tails of some sort of viral video or for a viral act, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So purpose is first and foremost. Always have a reason to what you're to why you're making a video. Something to look out for. I think it's like any sort of business transaction. Try and deal with someone that either you know and trust, or someone that you know knows and trusts.
Yes.
Because the person who's making your video, they should have your best interests at heart. Even though if you say, I want to make a video about this is what I think is going to work. As a video producer, if I was to turn around and say, well, actually, no, I don't think that's the best thing. I think you should be doing this. You should make this video because of these reasons. Then you've got to take that on board. I'd much prefer to give you the right advice. If you didn't agree with me and went somewhere else and got the video made by someone else, that's fine. But I would rather give you the right advice to get to try and help you get there or to achieve the results you want, rather than just pander to what you think you should be doing.
Yeah, and it is that constant client service relationship, and we get it all the time with the stuff that we do, don't we, Brendan? In terms of they come to you to get things done and for your professional service and your knowledge, yet they still want to have control in terms of what they think is best. And in some cases, you need their input for their side of the experience of their business that you don't have. But in terms of how it gets done, it can be a challenge that, people say, I know the video should be done from this angle, and I think it should be shot all from down low, or, whatever the scenario is. They start giving you advice on how the videos should be produced. I'm assuming that sort of thing happens a lot.
Yeah, you'll get both sides of the story, whether people just go, there you go, you make the video and just come back to me, and other people want to direct the video and produce. It becomes difficult when you're trying to, give them the video that's going to get the results, but they're still trying to, not, I'm going to use the word pander, but trying to pander to the client a little bit. It doesn't really do anybody any favors.
No.
So if you're employing someone to produce your video, you've got to have trust in them that they're doing the right thing by you. Because you might disagree with them, If you can trust that they're okay, I disagree with you, but you've got the experience, you've got the knowledge. I'll put my trust in you. That's really what you want, because then you'll get the best result.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of video, and this is a section that Brendan, if he wants to, can chime in on. Videos are ranking very well because they're YouTube's the second largest search engine on the planet. It's owned by Google, or owned by ABC, I should say, or Alphabet, I should say. So in terms of SEO, we're really starting to see even more and more as time goes by, videos appearing in the search engine result pages usually in the top 5 spots. So, Brendan, in your view, what sort of power have you seen with clients leveraging video for SEO?
Yeah, it's interesting because when small businesses caught on to video stuff, say back like 8 or 10 years ago, like 2010-ish, people were doing, so the videos that businesses were doing were like a TV commercial. And they were pretty horrible because TV is a completely different context to someone browsing on a computer or browsing online. The style, from an SEO perspective and engagement perspective, well, there's a couple of things. The style of video that we see working well for clients, I don't know what your thoughts are, Reg, but I like the about us telling a story about the business, not really like a pitchy video. It's more of a soft sell video. And typically for a lot of businesses, because when we talk with clients, they have we kind of split it up. They have a short sales cycle or a long sales cycle, a simple sale, or it's a complex sale. Like buying a house is probably a long sales cycle, or finding a builder to build a house is probably a long sales cycle, and it's a complex sale as well. And we find that those about us videos typically work well for those type of businesses where someone just doesn't come to a website and clicks the buy button, because those sort of businesses are all about having a relationship, and it's being comfortable with the people you're working with. So those are the sorts of videos we're seeing online. But actually, we just did a test. Well, with one client, they had some new videos made last week, and we uploaded. So the Facebook page has about 7,500 fans, and the YouTube channel has about 3,500 subscribers. We uploaded a video over the weekend, and in kind of 3.5 days, it had 5,500 plays on Facebook, and it had 85 plays on YouTube. So there's definitely, your question was about SEO, but there's definitely a question, something there with social engagement, particularly on Facebook, which is becoming a more and more important video platform. So I don't know what your thoughts are there, Reg. That's what I'm seeing from my perspective as SEO and getting traffic from Google and that end of things. Yeah.
I made a very similar video for a client at the end of last year, and it really is a soft sell video. This gentleman exists in a very competitive industry, which is all the consumers, all the clients really do buy on price. So he's trying to differentiate himself. So we made a little video just introducing him and the people who work in his business to the viewer. So it really was on the premise that people buy from people. So if you can get to know the person behind the business, then that's a positive step to perhaps actually choosing them over someone that you don't know. And when we made that video for them, because they were getting, because it's a franchise business, but they were getting some discount deal with a new website and all the rest of it. But with the video SEO that I did for that business, the video was ranking higher than the website for a while.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we've seen that a lot too.
Yeah, you can definitely use video to get reach. It doesn't have to sit on your website, and then your website attracts the attention or the viewers, you can actually use the video as a digital asset on its own.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the thing. That's the great thing about the video. It has multiple purposes and it can sit in different places. So you can use it on Facebook. You can use it on YouTube, to bring in visitors. But also if someone finds your website from another purpose that wasn't video based, then the video can be on there as well to help, convince that person to use the customer, that business's service. So in terms of Facebook advertising, Facebook videos, I should say, do you find that there's a comfortable limit in terms of the length of the video? What's the goal of trying to keep a video under a certain length? And should it by default have captions? Because as most people know, if you're watching a Facebook video, depending on your settings, you don't hear the sound. So you're just seeing a video. What are your thoughts on that length and whether you should have captions in the videos?
Okay. Length is a very common question, and I answer it pretty much the same way. So as I mentioned before, with any video, purpose is the main concern. But then if you want to talk about length, then it's who's the audience. Now, if you have an engaged audience, then you can afford to have a longer video because they're interested in what you're talking about. If you're trying to advertise and trying to gain attention to your site, then obviously quicker. If you can get your messages across in a quicker space of time, then that will work. So there's no one ring to rule them all type of thing. It depends on what you're doing, what you're using it for, where it's sitting, who's watching. So you've got to make decisions on those criteria. In regards to captions, I'm unconvinced either way. I think there's merit for both, and I think both have. There's an annoying factor. If I'm going to click on a video. If I'm interested in a video and I click on it, I don't necessarily want to see the captions as well as listen to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that I don't know if that's just me being a bit snobbish or being a bit weird, but yeah, that's my sort of thought process. I can understand the benefits, especially in those first maybe 5 to 10 seconds when you are trying to get their attention without any sound. And maybe have captions then, but.
Isn't there a way to do it? I'm fairly certain I've clicked on videos that have captions while you're not listening to it, where you don't have the sound or you haven't clicked on the video. But as soon as you click on it, the captions go away. Maybe I'm imagining things. Have you seen that, Brendan, or is it just my mind? I'll have to go.
Well, there's probably two ways. One way is to have the captions in the video themselves, and then the other way is like Facebook. You can have. You can add the captions in, right? So
that's what I was thinking. So I certainly don't. I think having the captions embedded in the actual video would be a pain because they're stuck there. But with the actual Facebook videos, that would solve the problem if you could do that. So okay. So Brendan, any other specific questions you got for Reg?
What's a reasonable time frame? So someone wants to get a video made, like what? It's like a 3-minute video could quite easily be several weeks or months worth of work, right?
Well, that's correct. It depends on how complex a video is. If they're looking for like a high-end promotional or sort of corporate video just to tell people how good they are, then a turnaround time, you could be talking a couple of months. But, simpler videos, I do basic 2D animation videos. We can get them turned around in a couple of weeks, sometimes less. So it depends on how complex it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. So the main area that you work in terms of video production, are you working on things outside of the Perth area? Do you do stuff in the eastern states, or is it mainly in the West Australian section?
It's mainly in the West Australian section. I have had clients from Britain and Queensland, but not regular. Yeah. So mainly Perth.
So I suppose, it depends on the sort of work. If you're doing animation stuff, then you technically you don't need to be on site to film anything, but if you're doing more involved video productions that require, backdrop settings of locations and stuff, you've got to turn up to the place with the cameras, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, I think it's a case that it's not if video is going to be important. This has already been well and truly established years ago. But a lot of people get stuck. And I think also a lot of people, because of the accessibility to much cheaper equipment these days, you can buy a whole sort of setup from eBay in terms of cameras and lighting and stuff for, $2 or $3 grand, which is not like it was years ago where it was 30 grand to get the sort of stuff that does high resolution, like even 4K cameras are pretty common these days. But just because you can buy the stuff doesn't mean you have the skill to put it all together. And I think that's what a lot of people find. They go out and go, oh yeah, it's so easy, I can just go and do this myself now. Then they realize, no, it's actually not that easy. You need to know how to put this stuff together. So in that case, if you want it done properly and you want to have the desired effect, you really need to engage someone who knows what they're doing. So hence the reason we're talking to you, Reg. So so in terms of local businesses getting in touch with you, what's the best way for them to reach you, mate?
Well, they can phone me or email me through the website. So onlinevideosperth.com.au, there's a contact form there, and my phone number is at the top right-hand side of the page.
Fantastic. That makes it easy. And you don't have sort of packages or anything set up. You really have to speak to the client to have a discussion, so you can then do proposals for them and work from there.
Yeah, exactly. I'd much prefer to work out where their pain points are and what they want to achieve, and then I'd rather sort of tackle it that way and give them a more bespoke solution rather than just going, I've got a marketing package here, you can spend X amount and I'll give you this and this. That might be good in the long term. Might be to sell a few packages, but I'd rather try and solve the problem that they've got.
Yeah, exactly. It is a lot harder to produce that type of those packages. We find that as well, the cookie cutter packages, I call them. With some industries, it's easy because it's you're getting very specific things, but to tailor a video for a client, you really need to have that one-on-one sit-down conversation and work back from the purpose forward is what's required and what they're going to be using it for and what their end goal is, and that's where they need to have that conversation. So anything else you have to ask Reg, Brendan, before we finish up?
No, I think that covers it, really.
If I could just add something very...
Yes,
we were talking about SEO before. Another benefit of video, having it on your website, is the organic SEO. So all the sort of factors that Google looks for on a good website, how long do they spend on your page? All those type of things. If you can get a video on your page and people are, rather than coming to your page and bouncing off after a couple of seconds, and they're engaging in your video and watching for 60, 90 seconds, that helps your Google search rankings.
Definitely.
So there's, inadvertent benefits as well for having video.
Yeah, and I think we've just been conditioned to watch them now. And as I say, we all carry, devices around that makes it really easy. I think I'd probably spend more time on my phone or iPad watching video than doing anything else. So, and look, it's the fantastic thing. I see some of the channels that are created on YouTube and the niches that these people create, and they build these followings. It just was not possible years ago to do that. So, I think it's a tremendous tool. If you're not using it, you should certainly consider using it. It's not necessarily right for everyone, but there's probably few scenarios where I can't picture a video being helpful. So yeah, contact Reg and have a chat. And I'm sure he'll be able to work something out for you. So thank you, buddy, for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for the invitation.
You're welcome. An important subject. And if you've got any questions, contact Reg. We'll have the contact details in the show notes as well. So thank you, Brendan, for your time. And I think Brendan's still there.
Oh, thanks, Brendan.
I'm still here.
He muted himself. Not neutered, but muted. So, all right. Thank you, Reg. Thank you, Brendan. And we look forward to speaking to you again sometime in the near future.
Lovely. Thanks, Ed.
Guys. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. You've been listening to the Business Marketing Show. You can find us at businessmarketingshow.com on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher.